Hello everyone, welcome to Coding with Ivan, and in this video we're going to make this OCR application. So as you can see, when we'll open the app, it will say hello, capture or choose an image from gallery to perform OCR. So now let's click on this capture button, and here we'll get some options like we can click on this camera to click an image from the camera, and we can also click on this gallery to pick an image from the gallery. So let's click on this camera and take a picture. So for this I'll open just this web page of Android Studio and let's click on camera. Alright, now let's take a picture of this part and let's confirm this, and then we can crop a particular portion of this image. So let's crop this part only and click on crop. So as you can see, we got the text extracted from this particular part that we just cropped. Okay, and once you are done, you can always click on this copy text button to copy the extracted text into your clipboard. And if you're not satisfied with the OCR, you can also click on this retake button to capture the image again. So let's click on this retake camera and let's try to take picture of this part. Okay, let's confirm it, and I'll try to extract text from this part only now. Okay, so let's click on crop. Okay, so as you can see, our text has been extracted. Now let's copy this text and let's go to our notepad and let's try to paste it here. Alright, so our copy option is also working. So now let's build this application. So at first I'll go to the Android Studio, and here as you can see I have opened a new project called OCR app, and here we have the main activity.java and the activity main.xml file. So here at first let me tell you that to make this application we'll use two libraries. Like to capture or extract the text, we'll use the Google Mobile Vision API, and then we'll use another library called Android Image Cropper by Arthur Hub. Okay, so we'll mainly use that to crop the image. Okay, so we have to add the dependencies of these two libraries. So I've just copied them here, and don't worry, I'll give the dependency in the description also. From there you can copy them and paste it in your Gradle. So I'll just copy them and go back to my Android Studio, and here I'll open the Gradle scripts here, and I'll go into this module level Gradle file, and inside here, inside these dependencies, I'll paste the two dependencies that I just copied. So I'll paste them here and I'll click on sync now. So once it's done, we can go to our main activity.java and start our coding. But before that, let's create our UI. So let's go to the UI first. I'll go to the split view, and inside here I'll change the root layout to a relative layout. Okay, and then I'll remove this text view from here, and here we have to add a text view to show the scanned or OCR text, and we'll add two buttons here for the capture button and the copy text button. Okay, so for the text view we'll add that inside a scroll view, so that if the extracted text is larger, then we can just use the scroll view to scroll and view the full text. So I'll take a scroll view here and I'll set its width to match parent and the height to match parent. Okay, and then inside the scroll view we'll add the text view that we want. So I'll take a text view here and I'll set its width to match parent and the height to wrap content. Okay, and let's give this text view an ID. I'll call this text data, and then for the scroll view I'll attach this to the top of the screen. So I'll write align parent top to true, and I'll also give this a margin of 8 dp. Okay, so this is our text view. Let's change the text size to 22 sp. Let's also change the text color to color black, and let's also add a placeholder text. So I'll write text, I'll write hello, capture or choose an image from gallery to perform OCR. Okay, now we have to add two buttons. So I'll go down this scroll view, and here I'll add a linear layout because I want to show two of the buttons horizontally. So for this I'll add a new linear layout. This one I'll set its width as match parent and the height as wrap content, and inside this linear layout I'll add our button. So I'll add a button here, and for the width I'll pass match parent. Okay, actually pass 0 dp because we're going to add weights here. So for the height I'll pass wrap content here, and then let's pass a weight here of 1, and then I'll add a text of this button as capture. I'll also give this a margin of 8 dp. Okay, let's also give this button an ID. So for the ID I'll pass button underscore capture. Okay, let's close the tag of this button. Alright, and then I'll just copy this button one more time under this. Okay, and this time I'll change the button's ID to button copy, and I'll change the text here to copy text. Okay, and we have to put these two buttons down here so that we have to attach them to the bottom of the screen. So for this I'll go inside this linear layout because the linear layout is the parent layout of these two buttons. So here I'll write align parent to bottom, and I'll pass true here. Okay, and then we need to attach this text view just above these buttons. So for this let's give this linear layout an ID. I'll call this linear holder. Okay, and I'll go up here inside this scroll view, and here I'll pass layout underscore above, and here I'll pass the ID of the linear layout. So we named it as linear holder, so I'll write here linear holder. Okay, so now as you can see our text view is right above these two buttons. Okay, so that's it for our UI. Now let's go to the main activity.java file, and inside here at first let's initialize our views that we just defined inside this XML file. So I'll just define two buttons, button underscore capture, and then button underscore copy. Okay, and then let's also initialize the text view. I'll call this text view underscore data. Now let's initialize them inside the onCreate method. So here I'll write the button capture equals find view by id r.id dot, we named it as button capture, and then for the button copy I will do the same, find view by id r.id dot button copy, and then for the text view, the text view data equals find view by id r.id dot, we named it as text underscore data. Okay, and now as you know we are going to use the camera to capture image to perform OCR. So in that case we have to access the camera permission. So for this at first I'll go into the manifest, and here inside here we'll just define the permission to use the camera. So here I'll write users permission, then android.permission.camera. Let's close this, and then we can go to our main activity.java here, and here we'll ask the runtime permission to access the camera. So I'll just go inside this onCreate method after this initialization of the views. So here I'll check if context compat dot check self permission, and here at first we have to pass the context. So for the context I'll pass main activity dot this, and then we have to pass the name of the permission. So I'll write manifest dot permission dot camera. All right, and then we'll check if the permission is not granted. So I'll write not equals package manager dot permission granted. So if the permission is not granted, then we'll ask for the permission. So here to ask the permission I'll write activity compat dot request permissions, and here at the parameter we'll pass the activity. So I'll write main activity dot this, and the second parameter is the permissions. So the permissions, let's pass them inside a string. So new string, and then inside the second bracket we'll pass the permissions name. So the permission name was manifest dot permission dot camera. Okay, and then after this ending second bracket we have to pass the request permission code. So let's define the code here. So I'll go up here, and here I'll create a variable called private static final int request underscore camera underscore code equals 100. Okay, and then we'll pass this request camera code right here. So I'll write here request camera code. All right, so that will handle the runtime permission. So now we can create on click listener for these buttons. So I'll just go after this, and here I'll call this button capture. So I'll write button capture dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener, and inside here we'll just call our crop image activity that we will get from the library that we just imported. So before that, if we go to the documentation or the GitHub repository of our Android image cropper, so here we'll see there are a few steps to set up this library, and here at the second step it was to add the crop image activity in our manifest file. So let's do that. So for this we'll just copy this part. Okay, and then we'll just go to our Android Studio, and I'll go to the manifest file, and inside here we'll create a new activity. So I'll just paste it here. Okay, it comes with the activity tag, and we have to just close it. Okay, so now we are done. Now we can go back to our main activity.java here, and here we'll call our crop image activity. So for this I'll write crop image dot activity dot set guidelines, and here we'll pass the crop image view dot guidelines dot on. Okay, and then we'll start the activity. So for this we'll write dot start, and here we'll pass the activity, which is main activity dot this. Okay, so that will launch the crop image activity, and it will ask the user to click an image from the camera or select an image from the gallery, and then the user will crop that image. And then to capture the image result, we have to call or override the on activity result method. So I'll just go outside of this on create method, and I'll override the on activity result. So here I'll write on activity result, and inside this on activity result, after the super call, we'll check for the request code. So I'll write if request code equal crop image dot crop image activity request code. So if it matches, then we'll just get the cropped image from the data. So for this here I'll write crop image dot activity result. I'll call this as result equals crop image dot get activity result, and here for the parameter we'll pass the data that we got from the intent. So I'll write here the data. Alright, then in the next line we'll check for the result code. So I'll write if the result code, this one, equal to result OK. Then we'll create a URI from the result. So here I'll create a URI. I'll call this as result URI equals result dot get URI. Okay, so got the URI from the result here, and then we'll try to create a bitmap from this URI. So for this we have to take a bitmap. So at first let's define a bitmap up here. So here I'll create a bitmap object. So I'll call this as bitmap, and then let's go down here, and inside here we'll call this bitmap object equals media store dot images dot media dot get bitmap, and here for the first parameter we have to pass a content resolver. So for this I'll write this dot get content resolver, and then for the second parameter we have to pass the URI. So we have the URI here inside the result URI, so I'll just pass this one, the result URI. Okay, so it's showing an error here in this get bitmap, so we have to surround this with a try catch. So let's click on this, and we have the try catch block here. Okay, so after we got the bitmap from the URI, we can then start our OCR. So in order to start the OCR we have to create another method. So I'll just go after this or outside of this on activity result method, and here I'll create another method. I'll call this private void get text from image. Okay, and here we'll pass a bitmap as a parameter. So I'll pass bitmap object here. Okay, so inside this method body we will call the text recognizer from the vision API. So here I'll call the text recognizer class from Google Vision. I'll create an object called recognizer equals new text recognizer dot builder, this one, and in the parameter we have to pass the context. So I'll pass this, and then I'll write dot build. Okay, so our recognizer object is now ready. Now we'll check if the recognizer is not operational. So I'll write a if checker here, and here I'll write recognizer dot is operational, and I'll add a not here, and then let's go to the if conditions body. So if the recognizer is not operational, then we'll just show a toast message that will say some error occurred. So at first we have to pass the context here. So I'll write main activity dot this, and then for the message or the text we will pass error occurred. Okay, now let's go outside of this if block and start the else block. So inside this else block we will start extracting the text from the image. So here at first I'll take a frame. I'll call this frame. Okay, it's showing an error because we need to import the class. So we can click on alt enter or just click on this import class here. Okay, alright, so frame equals new frame dot builder, this one, and then I'll write dot set bitmap, and here we'll pass the bitmap that we got from the parameter. So I'll pass the bitmap here dot build. Okay, and then I'll take a sparse array. So I'll take a sparse array of text block, and I'll call this as text block sparse array equals recognizer dot detect, and we'll pass the frame that we got here. Okay, and then we'll create a string builder. So I'll write string builder. I'll call this as a string builder equals new string builder. Okay, and then we'll traverse through each of the items inside this text block sparse array and we'll add them to the string builder. So for this we have to create a new for loop here, and here I'll write int I equals 0, I is less than text block sparse array dot size, and then I plus plus. Okay, and inside this for loop I'll create an object of text block. So I'll write text block equals text block sparse array dot value add, and here I'll pass I, which is the index, and then we'll add the value of this text block to our string builder. So I'll write the string builder dot append, and here we'll pass the text block dot get value. Okay, and after adding each of the value we'll add a new line here so that we can maintain the line patterns. So I'll write string builder dot append, and I'll attach a new line here. And after all the strings from that image is added, we can attach the strings from the string builder to our text view. So I'll just go after this for loop here, and here I'll call our text view, which is the text view data dot set text, and here I'll pass the string builder dot toString. Okay, and let's do another thing. When we'll perform a successful OCR, we can change the text of our capture button to retake, and we can enable the copy text button. So let's go to our activity main.xml file here, and here at first we have to make this button copy as invisible. So I'll change the visibility to gone here. Okay, now let's go back to the main activity.java here, and here after adding the string to the text view, I'll call the button capture dot set text, and here I'll change the string to retake. Okay, and then we'll make the button copy visible. So I'll write button copy dot set visibility visible. Okay, so what that will do is whenever a user will open the app for the first time, it will only show the capture button, and if the user clicks on the capture button, it will open the camera. The user will click an image, it will perform the OCR, and when the OCR is complete, it will show the retake button and the copy text button. Okay, so that's done. Now we can make on click listener for the button copy. So I'll just go above here. After this button capture, I'll create a on click listener for the button copy. So I'll write button copy dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener, and here we have to call a method to copy the text to the clipboard. So let's make the method first. So for this I'll go down here after this method, and here I'll create a new method, private void copy to clipboard. Okay, and here we'll pass a string as the parameter. I'll call this as text. So inside this copy to clipboard method, I'll call the clipboard manager. I'll create an object called clipboard equals get system service, and here we have to pass the service class. So for this we have to write context dot clipboard service. So I'll write clipboard service here. Okay, and then let's create another object for the clip data, but before that it's showing an error. Okay, So it says that cast to Android as clipboard manager. Okay, so let's cast this to clipboard manager. So I'll just write here clipboard manager. Okay, all right, so let's create another object for the clip data. So I'll write clip data. I'll call this as clip equals clip data dot new plain text, this one, and here for the label at first we have to pass let's pass copied data. Okay, and for the second parameter we have to pass this text that we'll get from the parameter. Okay, and then let's set the primary clip to the clipboard. So I'll call the clipboard dot set primary clip, and here we'll pass the clip that we created. Okay, so now our text is now copied to the clipboard, and we can show a toast message to the user that the text has been copied to the clipboard. So here for the first parameter we have to pass the context main activity dot this, and then for the text we'll pass copied to clipboard. Okay, so now we have to call this method to our on-click listener for the button copy. So here I'll call the copy to clipboard, and for the string we have to get the text from the text view. So at first let's create a string object here. I'll call this as scanned text equals text view data dot get text dot to string. Okay, and we'll pass this scanned text into the parameter. Okay, so that will do the work for the copy to clipboard method. And now we have to call this get text from image method inside this on activity result after this bitmap creation. So here I'll call this get text from image, and for the bitmap we will pass this one as the parameter. So I'll pass the bitmap here. Okay, so our OCR application is now done. So now let's run this to see how it works. Okay, so here as you can see our app is now opened and it's asking for the camera permission. So let's allow that, and it says hello, capture or choose an image from gallery to perform OCR. Okay, so let's open the web page again for the Android Studio. Okay, and let's click on this capture button. Okay, let's open this. Okay, let's click on the capture button here and let's select the camera. Now we'll click on or click this image. Okay, so image is now captured. Let's confirm this. Now let's try to extract this part of the text. Okay, all right, so now let's crop this image, and as you can see our text has been extracted. So now let's try to copy this text by clicking on this copy text button. So the text is now copied. Now let's paste this inside the notepad to see if it works. Yes, it works. Okay, so that's how we can make a simple OCR application for Android. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a like to this video and subscribe to my channel because I'll be posting more awesome Android projects and tutorials like this. And thank you so much for watching.